Eon and the lovely Miss Lady Pop Hunter here with another open discussion today, talking about television shows that have just been on too damn long. They have outlived their relevance. They have stopped being interesting. They're a pale comparison of what they used to be, and they're still on the air, in some cases decades later.
Yeah.
It's been way too long. And all you hear about when you hear people talk about these shows now, it's negative. It's negative, and you got to wonder, why is it still on? Why is it still on? So we're going to start off with the elephant in the television arena, as it were. Saturday Night Live. SNL, as it's referred to now, which really has rarely been funny since they started calling themselves SNL instead of Saturday Night Live. It's been at least 20 years, in my opinion. The show has not been relevant. At least the last 20 years. And it's gotten also very weirdly political over the years. We've gone from Chevy Chase making fun of President Ford in the 70s by pretending to be Ford in sketches and like tripping over things and being goofy to where they are now in politics, where it's just like, God, they lean way over in one direction, and it makes you're alienating half your audience.
Yeah. I haven't watched Saturday Night Live since the 90s. The last time I remember, you had the church lady and the guy that did the news. I can't remember his name.
Well, they've always had Chevy Chase started that, but
yeah, but I mean, it wasn't Chevy Chase. But
of course,
the last time I watched it, I remember it was
might have been Dennis Miller.
I think it was Dennis Miller. It was the 90s. I haven't seen it since. I've seen little clips here and there, but that's the last. And I remember it not being funny anymore in the 90s when I stopped watching it, because I used to stay up on Saturdays to watch it, and it was always funny. Then I remember, I don't know what happened, but it wasn't funny anymore. Yeah. And then I just like, well.
It's also become very heavily scripted over the years to the point where no improv is allowed anymore. And that's how Damon Wayans lost his job. He he tweaked a character. All he did was give it a different personality. Yeah. He made it a little more flamboyant because he thought it would be funnier. And they told him, don't even finish out the rest of the night. Get the hell out of here. They fired him on the spot, and he didn't even finish the night. So they got real weird with that. And I know they're in a lot of trouble right now because of what they did with the vice president.
Yeah, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, they violated, I think there's 70 official complaints against the show right now.
Oh, wow.
It's real bad. But yeah, that's a show. It's an institution, and all of these are. They've been on so long, they stay on because they've been on so long, like the nightly news. But they've turned into institutions that have outlived their usefulness, quite frankly. And Saturday Night Live, to me, is definitely one of them. Which brings us to another big NBC show, and that would be The Tonight Show, which to me hasn't been good since Johnny Carson left. And he wasn't even the original host.
Oh, yeah?
I believe he was the second official host of the show. I used to really like the Carson show, but when he left, I think an air of dignity left with it. And Jay Leno, of course, ended up with the show.
What did David Letterman do? I remember David Letterman.
Letterman was still Letterman.
I know, but didn't he take over Johnny Carson's spot?
No, he did not.
Or what did he take over?
Nothing.
Oh, he just had a David Letterman show.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I used to like his top 10. I never watched the show, but it was a morning radio show that I used to listen to. And every morning they would play the David Letterman top 10.
That's late night. That's not Tonight Show.
Well, whatever. They used to play the David Letterman top 10 every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Just that part. And those were funny. And I saw a couple of the stupid animal tricks.
Yeah.
Every now and then he would do animal tricks.
He do a lot of weird stuff on that show.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't watched the Tonight Show since Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon was on there.
Yeah.
After that, yeah, I never watched it like consistently, but I've seen it with them two on there. And then after that, it was like...
Yeah, because when Jay Leno took over, it was a very different show.
Mm-hmm.
He made it work, but I don't think it was as good.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Leno could be kind of a snarky guy, too, and bring people on there and just give them a hard time. He act like he's a friendly guy. He isn't always. But it wasn't the same. And then, of course, he left and someone else came in. And every time they get someone else, it gets worse and worse, and the ratings dip further and further. And again, just like with SNL, it's gotten very weirdly political. I mean, even Carson told political jokes, but he was very neutral about it. Now there's a definite angle, a very strong one. And people just don't want to see that or hear that anymore. They've had it.
I think that's what kills any show.
Yeah.
Because people don't mind. Well, I don't think the majority of people watch a show to hear your political angle. I think they watch it
unless that's specifically what it's for.
Yeah, then you purposely turn to it to watch something political. But a show like Saturday Night Live supposed to be comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Tonight Show is supposed to be, but I know when Johnny Carson was on there, it wasn't all political, and they talked about upcoming movies and had musicians
they just had guests
there.
on, and they'd interview them, and then they'd play a song or whatever.
But now you can't turn it on. The opening monologue is all political, and it's just too much.
Which also leaks into a late night, which originally was Late Night with David Letterman, that came on after the Tonight Show. And all that occurred, of course, during the what was dubbed the Late Night Wars, trying to fill the voids after Johnny Carson just up and left, because no one had a clue. He just announced it one night. Oh, by the way, on such and such, I'm going to retire. And even the producers are like, "Wait, what? Where did that come from?" And David Letterman's show, which was Late Night with David Letterman, he had been promised the Tonight Show by NBC, and they screwed him by giving it to Jay Leno. And so then he took his whole kit. He basically took his ball and went home, and ended up on CBS as the David Letterman Show.
Yeah, but David Letterman's not around anymore.
Okay, but Late Night stayed. NBC kept that show just without David Letterman, and they put Conan O'Brien in there.
I thought it was Late Night with Johnny Carson.
Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That's what I was trying to tell you before.
Well, you should just sum it up to all of those late night shows.
Okay, but I can't... Listen, you. I'm trying to do a top 10 list here.
It get confusing with... I don't know. But all of those late night shows need to just get off the... And I thought they had canceled a bunch of them. Because I know it was
They keep
Jimmy
talking about canceling them.
It's the guy with the got that chopped his fingers off. Him. I know it's a Conan O'Brien, but I never seen any of them.
Yeah, he took over Late Night, and he was a writer for like The Simpsons or something.
But I know all of that need to go, because every last one of them are political.
Super weird and political now.
Yeah, and that's all they talk about. And all they do is stir up mess, I think. And then they host the award shows and do all of that. I don't know if any of those shows are relevant. I guess you need an outlet for those actors to come and promote their upcoming movies, and musicians to promote their upcoming album. And I guess that's the purpose of those shows. But I don't know. I used to like Arsenio Hall. Now, I used to watch him. I liked him. But then he got off the air, and then that guy, what's his name? Keenan Ivory Wayans was on there. I liked him too. But I don't know. All of that late night mess,
Yeah.
I think it's just too much.
When O'Brien took over, I mean, the show never had any class anyway, but it was still fun with David Letterman. It was still a fun show at the time. O'Brien brought like this kind of sleaziness to it, like the masturbating bear and other sketches he used to. Oh, I'm serious. It was a guy in a bear suit wearing a diaper.
Oh my God.
And he would grab his crotch, and then somebody would come out and tase him. He did weird stuff like that.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Why would you put that on TV?
Because
on a network TV. That sounds like something that would be on cable.
People watch it. But, I mean, over the years, it's declined until it's in the gutter. And it's just not relevant anymore. And should probably just go away. Just stop.
I used to like the David Letterman top 10 list.
You said so.
Yeah.
Getting into another realm of television here. And I got 3 more that can kind of tie together. And we'll start with The Price is Right. The Price is Right has been on the air forever, but since Bob Barker left, is it The Price is Right? I mean, Drew Carey's in there, but so what? It's not the same show. It's a reduced audience. And I could make the same argument, and I'll go ahead and I'll lump them here, because that also goes for Jeopardy. It goes for Wheel of Fortune. The part of the problem is, and all 3 of those are, 4, 5, and 6 right there.
Yeah.
Price is Right, Jeopardy, and Wheel of Fortune. There are no more legacy game show hosts. Pat Sajak was the last one.
Yeah, he just recently retired.
Yes. There's no more.
And then Alex Trebek died.
Yeah.
And Bob Barker retired a long time ago. He's still alive.
I think he's passed away.
Oh, yeah?
I believe so.
I don't know.
But there's no more designated legacy game show hosts anymore. They just dredge up a retired comedian, and they go on, and they're over-the-top animated, and the game shows themselves aren't the same anymore. They're loud.
A lot of music.
A lot of loud music, a lot of flashing lights. Even the guests seem phony. We know somebody who is an actor. I wanted to ask him, are these even really contestants, or are they actors? Because they're so animated and so over the top. It's like
they're so relaxed.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like you mean they relax, like they're not like you used to watch The Price is Right. And
they're nervous, and not just Price. Only time that the people were relaxed was on Jeopardy. But if you watch an old game show, look at those people and how they all shaking, they jumping up and down. But the modern ones, they all laughing, they making jokes, they ultra relaxed, like, oh man, I do this every day.
But they're really loud and animated, and their reactions are over exaggerated. Like, hey Bob, thanks for having me on. And it's like, who the hell does that?
Yeah. Yeah. Normal people don't act like that. Even if you kind of a reserved person, you get put on the spot and on TV and like that, you get kind of nervous, and it shows. They don't look like regular people, like everyday people, like it used to be. Those used to be like regular people that came in off the street and they were chosen, or they wrote in and they
randomly
were selected.
Picked.
Yeah, these people feel like they went to an actor studio and picked some bottom tier actors to come in and fill these spots.
Wow.
When regular people would fill the spots if you gave it to them, if you gave them the opportunity.
But I'd like to, the game shows are just not the same. They seem phony. Yeah. They seem obnoxious, even, really. And I don't like seeing the incarnations of them anymore. Moving on to animated shows. And we can start off with South Park. Still on the air. And honestly, really kind of stopped being relevant around the time that the movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
Going way back.
I saw that movie. It was disgusting.
Because that put them on that route of setting the bar lower and lower. And again, if you keep setting the bar low, you end up crawling under it. There's nowhere to go but down, because you have to top yourself, but you don't top yourself by improving. You top yourself by being more disgusting, quite frankly, or more lewd, or just more foolish or nasty. And that's what happened with South Park. It went from being an entertaining show for adults, because this show's not meant for kids.
No.
It really, kids watch it, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
To just, how much of this can you tolerate? And we couldn't watch it anymore because, you know, one show might be relevant and then the next show is just disgusting. The stuff they're doing is absolutely wretchedly disgusting.
Yeah. I used to watch it like the first three seasons. You know, it was tolerable. They had like onesie twosies, and then after that, it just got bad. I've seen a couple of episodes since. Somebody have said, "Hey, this one was good." Like the Macho Man one, the one with Caitlyn Jenner was good. They had one with Medea in it that was good. You know, but that show can go off. I don't think anybody will really miss it like all that.
Yeah.
It do get funny. Like they did the one with the that prince from Europe, him and his wife Megan. They did them. That was funny. I saw bits of that one. That one was kind of funny. So you know, every now and then I'll hear about a episode they did, and I'll look for it and I'll watch it. But outside of that, because I bought the whole, I think, first 15 seasons. Yeah. And after a while, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I had to get that thing away. I shouldn't even give it away. I should have destroyed it. People shouldn't watch that, but I gave it. I gave it to Warren, right?
Yeah, Warren took it. Yeah. Also, there's the issue of their angle and the true attitude of the people that produce this show. Because they say, oh, we're fair because we attack everyone. Technically, they go after everyone, but some more than others. There is a direction in that show. And they'll attack one concept one time and then another concept 20 times. You know, it does lean. It does lean, and it's obvious. Also, the childishness of when they went after what's his name? Isaac Hayes. Yeah, Isaac Hayes was uncomfortable with doing a certain plot on one episode, and that was because he was a Scientologist, I believe. So, you know what you do? Write his character out of that episode. No. They fire him, and then they destroy his character from the show permanently in the most disgusting way possible. And that's very childish, and that's very vindictive. It was unnecessary to do that. All they had to do was exclude him from that episode.
Yeah, because he wasn't, I mean, he was almost in every episode, but they could have not have him in that episode.
And then just they canceled his character, and they did it in a really foul way. And that's very childish of the people that run that show. Yeah. Honestly, that's everything you really need to know about who's in charge there. Yeah. Which brings us to Family Guy.
I've never seen Family Guy.
It's another one of these shows that started out okay. Again, an adult cartoon. It was fun to watch, but same problem. Kept setting the bar lower and lower. What can we do? And counter-influenced by a show that was related to it, not a spin-off, but done by the same people, which was American Dad. American Dad is disgusting. Oh, it's hard to watch. Even though I saw the first season, I was like, never again. Never again. It got really gross really quick. But then they took that angle with Family Guy, and Family Guy just went down the slope. And it just doesn't have the charm anymore. The charm is gone of how it started off, the silliness of it and whatever. Now it's not just silliness, it's just how disgusting can we be on this show, and how many disgusting tie-ins can we have, and how many cultural norms or taboos can we try to break and get away with. That's another one that just needs to disappear. And it's a show that was originally canceled and brought back by Fox.
Oh, really?
When it was good. And then, people petitioned for it to return, and it did, but it's long since outlived its usefulness.
Is it still on?
Yeah.
Oh.
As is The Simpsons. The Simpsons, which was a cultural phenomenon of a show. if you grew up in that era, when it was purchased originally from Tracy Ullman, which was the biggest mistake she ever made. But she went away. The Simpsons survived because they bought the concept from her and turned it into the Simpsons show. Huge success. Tons of merchandising and everything. Fun show to watch. Video games, name it. They had everything. But it's been on too long. It started getting real PC. Disney bought it. It got worse. It's still on the air, and it's a pale comparison of what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the point now where the guy who used to do the voice of the guy who owned the convenience store, the Abu, yeah, where he was made to publicly apologize for culturally misappropriating a voice, the actor, and I believe they still fire him anyway after putting him through that. The show is, again, pale comparison of where it started.
Well, when Disney bought it out, that was the end of it. Because Disney
it was already headed that way before Disney acquired it.
Yeah.
But it's, again, like, it was a cultural phenomenon, but you've murdered it. You've murdered it. Just take it off the air and just be done. If you're not going to... It's long outlived its usefulness. Sometimes it's better to just stop a show. Just stop the show and let it live in people's memories.
Yeah.
And we see that often where a show stays on too long and it ends up getting ruined. I'm sure people that are watching can name 100 shows where it was like they went one season too far.
Law and Order, SVU. Man, that show has been on a long time now. I like Law and Order, all of them. I used to own the box sets. But SVU stuck around. And I know Stabler left. He came back. And now Benson is the police chief. And it just got long. And I'm like, man, this show is still on. And I watched a couple of episodes when I was at my parents' house. And I was like, oh my God, it's totally changed. It's all new people. They're trying to keep it, now they're trying to make it more like a soap opera, because before it was all standalone episodes where you had some background stuff, a little bit of light background, things that would pop up every so often, but all in all it was standalone episodes. And then I watched it. No, I wasn't at my parents' house. I was at a store where I had to wait, and I had to wait a long time. So I got to see 2 episodes, and you could tell it was soap opera-ish, because it continued on and on and on, and they had this big plot going on. And I'm like, whoa, you got to kind of go way back to figure out what happened to how we got here. And it's like, man, that's just too much. It was good when it was just standalone. They ripped the plots out of the headlines. That was always their thing.
Over-exaggerated them. And
yeah, they did.
It was far-fetched, a lot of it.
Yeah, but you could kind of see, what story they were talking about. They gave you a little bit to figure out the story. But it was good then, but I don't know what they're doing now. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Yeah.
This one's going to break some hearts. Sesame Street.
Yeah, Sesame
It's still on the air. It's been on the air since the late 60s.
It should have got taken off the air when Elmo got on.
Yeah, when Elmo, and you can see the transition. You go back and you watch, and this is the mistake that a lot of parents nowadays make. They remember Sesame Street from 70s, 80s, whatever. Oh, Sesame Street's safe. No, it's not. Sesame Street has changed drastically, and it's unrecognizable from where it started. It's loud. It's obnoxious. It's socio-politically oriented.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and it's like, God, no. It's changed so much from where it started. You want your kids to watch Sesame Street, pull up reruns of the old 60s, 70s, and 80s shows.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Don't let them see the modern ones. Trust me. This is a show that has long outlived its usefulness and probably should have been taken off the air at least 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. It's nowhere near where it started. It's unrecognizable from where it started.
I don't know. I haven't seen any. Well, I was somewhere and I saw an episode, a modern episode, and I'm just sitting there like,
what the hell is this?
Yeah, but I remember it in the 80s before Elmo got on there, and it was good. But I don't know what's going on with it now. But yeah, that's something that can be taken off and people won't miss it.
Yeah, it's not what you think it is anymore. You're better off, again, watching reruns with your kids. Because the modern stuff is garbage. It really is. And it's a shame. It's a shame when you consider what it was and look at how it is now. So there we are.
But another one is all those morning news shows. All of that need to be taken off the air. I mean, because it used to be like those morning news shows. It came on at like Good Morning America, CBS This Morning, all of those shows. They didn't really talk about the news, you know, but they had guests come on, people promoting their books and, you know, something like that. But now it's just a slash fest for politics. And again, it's all political. And I know it's the news, but it seems like it all leans one way.
Yeah.
When before, they would just have guests come on the show, promote their book. They would have artists come on, promote their new album, their new song. Movie stars come on, promote their new music. Psychiatrists or psychologists come on and they talk about, you know, some kind of new study they got going on behavior and kids and marriage, relationships, stuff like that. But now it's like, let's see how far down we can tear people and how much things we can slap the racism label on and all of this, and that need to go. All of those midday talk shows like The View and whatever else, because there's a bunch. Every network has their own. And again, those used to be shows where you just talked about regular average things.
Yeah, they're all very divisive now.
Yeah. You used to just talk about relationships, child rearing, things
recipes,
like that. Yeah, recipes. You have a cook come on, they show you how to make a pie or cake or some meal, something like that. But now it's just slam fest. Let's see how much stuff we can put a racism label on. Let's see how far down we can tear the American people with our political agenda. And it's too much. All of those shows just need to go. I would rather you put on reruns of Phil Donahue or Ricky Lake or what's the other guy named that got that chair thrown at him? Geraldo. Those I'm serious. People would watch those, and you probably will get better ratings if you bring back those old morning talk shows and put it in those slots. You would get better ratings because people like those shows. And I mean, the topics are probably a little bit off, but it's still relevant. You know, people like old shows. So yeah, that's all.
Old game shows are better than the modern ones.
Take all those modern game shows off and put the old reruns on.
People will watch that.
I watch it on YouTube. They got if you put in vintage game shows, you'll get a playlist of 1,000 of them, and you can watch them, all of them.
Yeah.
Is on there, and they're worth watching. They're better than that mess that comes on now. So.
But hey, can you think of another show?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you can. Tell us about it in the comments section down below. Or do you think we're wrong about one of them? Tell us why. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you are new. All that good stuff. And if that is it, then what more can we say but thanks for watching. And we will see you again.